Welcome to the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the number one AI platform for growing your home services business. I'm Julian Placino, your host, and we have another tremendous show in store for you today because today we have Adam Vaillancourt, who is the founder and owner of Adam Vaillancourt Roofing and Gutters. Adam, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great, great, man. Thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Absolutely excited to learn more about your leadership story, the business. So let's jump in. So you are founder and owner of Adam Vaillancourt Roofing and Gutters. So tell us a bit about the business and also your day-to-day focus, Adam.
Oh, the day-to-day focus. It's funny. I was talking earlier with teammates, and I'm like, my day-to-day now is stay out of everybody's way because I've hired such, and we have such great staff and leadership and employees. As the company has grown, it is. I can tend to be a perfectionist, and that's great in some areas, but in other areas, it's like, hey, you got to let your team grow. You got to let your team figure things out. So I do a lot of mentoring, um, a lot of discernment in certain meetings to offer, like, because I mean, I've been doing this 20 years, so people might have great ideas or thoughts, and I could tell them, hey, well, this would be the pluses you're going to get by doing this, and this is potentially the hazards by doing these certain things. So I do that. I do some technical training with a lot of the roofing techs at various meetings. I attend some of the roofing training meetings throughout the weeks, and then some of the leadership meetings. So I mean, my day to day is fairly limited. I'm not putting the 80 hours in like I did for 2 decades. But yeah, like I said, the team has grown and they're doing a great job. And a lot of times it's like I let them grow. I let them do their job. I've hired great people that do a tremendously good job. So, you got to let the team carry the vision, if that makes sense.
So it sounds like there's a heavy focus on leadership, growing your people, mentorship, and I know we'll speak about this a little bit later. One of your key principles is focusing on the people. So it sounds like you're already beginning to kind of tease that out. So I think that's great. So Adam, with so many roofing companies out there, what do you think Adam Vaillancourt Roofing and Gutters does exceptionally well that sets it apart from the competition?
Well, what we've done is we've been very, very consistent over 20 years, and consistency really is the key to this business. Ever since I started and continually what we do is making sure how you're serving people and listening to your customers and paying attention to your customers' needs and wants, and focusing on what are our customers telling us they want us to get better at. They won't always directly tell you. You have to tease that out because a lot of customers, people don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to offend you. But if you put yourself in a position where you're unoffendable and to learn what we can do better and what we can improve and that we've never arrived, you can get that intel from your customers. So we pay attention to our customers, I think, better than any organization out there. And by doing that, listening to our customers' needs, wants, and desires, and not being offended by a customer hurting our feelings because it's about them, not us, we will tease those things out slowly and meet their demands. Like, because really the one thing in the business is they can fire you anytime they want to. They just can. So, and they're the most important thing. So, if that makes sense. That's really what we focus on. And so it's very simple, really, in a complicated business. I mean, it can be complicated, but it's very simple.
Interesting. What I heard is that being open to real criticism for the sake of continuous improvement, right? And getting that feedback from your customers. So, any interesting ahas that you received from this process over the past, let's say, year?
Sure. Like our customers will tell us, like, right now, one main major focuses would be communication. Like, and then we ask specifically in what areas of the business do you feel that we might not be communicating to the level that you need us to communicate? And so in certain areas, we will go dive into those areas and say, well, how can we improve communication with our customers as we're scaling and growing and serving more people, our desire is to serve them with the same degree of quality as you serve more. And that is obviously a difficult task, or everybody would do it and they'd be running $20+ million organizations. And that's difficult. It's difficult to do. So I mean, the whole team is focused on that. Our values are tied to that, and that makes any sense.
Okay, okay. So let's go a bit into talent, culture, and also hiring, because as I'm speaking to the choir here, it's like it's the people is what makes the business great, right? So what do you think that Adam Vaillancourt Roofing and Gutters, as a place to work, has done to differentiate itself to attract the best talent out there?
Okay, so foundationally, what it really came down to was I always knew that people want to know that they matter, an employee matters to an organization, and what they do matters. In other words, they matter, and what they do is making some kind of a significant contribution in the world, in society, in the area they serve to their customers. If you can do that, and you can build around that, you'll attract the best people. So that our values tying into all that makes a big difference. And then when we hire people and bring them on board, we interview them very thoroughly because we want to make sure when we bring somebody in that most importantly, it's a right fit for them,
Hmm.
not necessarily for meaning they have the attributes, they're going to be successful in the position, they're going to win in whatever they do. So everybody has natural attributes, they have natural skill sets, they have giftings, and they have deficiencies. We want to make sure we're hiring them that they're going to be naturally built to be successful in the department that they're hired for. So we tease all that out very early. And I learned that from making major mistakes early running the business and not hiring the right people and not putting them in the right seats. And through that pain and still being successful or degrees of success, but we learned and grow and evolve. Nobody does this thing perfectly. If I would love to find the person that does, I don't think they exist or they're lying. So, it's just the
People are
reality,
predictable, man. Yeah.
but we were always willing to grow and step outside ourselves to learn and evolve and realize, like you said, like the foundation, learn what we're doing wrong so we can do it better. So I mean, by doing that, you're a high probability that employee and that I don't even call them employees, I call them teammates.
Hmm.
Our teammates are going to win, be successful, and thrive. And then we're always growing and we're evolving. So there's opportunity for people to come in a certain position and move and elevate themselves into a possible leadership position or move into a different department if this isn't they're not succeeding in this one area and they're succeeding in another area. So I think by doing that, it gives people, hey, I want to come work for you. You know what I mean? I believe in what you're doing. I believe in that vision. I want to make a difference too. I want to make a contribution too. And we thrive in that, and we thrive in people. I remember people would make mistakes and I would be laughing and they'd be like, well, they couldn't believe that I wasn't upset with the mistake. And I was like, no, this is exciting, and they don't get it because it's like, okay, well, what did you learn and how can you grow and how can you evolve? And it's like, okay, well, your mistake by learning and admitting it you can show five other people in the organization to not make that mistake. So is it really a negative if you learn? No, like that negative can impact five other people in a positive way. So it's like when you put somebody in a position in an environment where, hey, you can make mistake, you learn, it gets the transparency out there. Well, and it creates that culture. So I mean, there's a number of reasons why, and I could speak for my employees, but I'd love for them to share why too. Maybe we could do a podcast down the road and they could say why they want to be here. You know, that makes sense.
speaking to your internal customer, which is your employee, your teammates, right? But a
That's
lot of good
right.
things I got there. The first one that I thought was really cool is that you said you are very intentional about helping people feel like they actually matter. You also suss out through a very detailed interview process the values, making sure all that lines up, and overall just a match for the organization. Also, another really cool thing is that you sort of facilitated a culture of learning and not beating people down because of mistakes, but actually valuing it and using them as teaching opportunities that you can scale whatever came out of that to the entire organization, right?
That's
I
right.
think those are really good. So what are some things that you do intentionally to invest in your people, to level them up? So much of what you do right now is mentorship. So what are some of those things you do to grow your people?
Yeah, well, we do some. So first of all, we have strong leaders, like we hired strong leaders that want to grow and evolve, and we're always evolving. And I took that on personally too. I realized, maybe in 2015, 16, what I had to do and mature and grow and learn. So we're always learning and growing, because you can't give what you don't have. So that how happens, and then that starts cascading down into the other leaders, and people think, well, um, I'm not running a department. It doesn't make you not make you a leader. You can silently be leading by the examples you take. So, I mean, we do a lot of roof technical training, a lot of in-house training. I mean, it's a trade, so you have to do a lot of mock demo setups of roofing situations on jobs. We bring guys out in the field. Our techs, we do ride-alongs with them and do live ride-alongs. We do video analysis on roofs and look at those in the classrooms and analyze the data and point out certain things that we see or some of the experts see. We have production meetings we have once a week where we put the roofs up on screens, and we analyze every single project with all the photos, and that's a major teaching moment because you have over probably 100 years of expertise in the room at one time going over the job. So people that are newer get to be trained by someone with, I mean, 100 years of experience combined in that room with some of the leaders, and some of the technical, highly skilled technical people. Everybody's learning, you're constantly learning. So those are some of the things that we do,
So it
but it
sounds like you've
never ends.
established like a culture of learning as well. It's just ingrained into the people, the way you run the business. I think that's really great.
Yeah, we never want to practice on anybody's roof. I've been saying that for decades.
Yeah.
Not doing it. So, um, anyways,
Yeah. So Adam, what's the pitch? Let's say there's a top performer out there looking for maybe a new organization to come work for. Like, what's your pitch? Why do you think top talent in the roofing industry should come work for Valancourt?
I don't mean to be arrogant about this, but I believe like our people, our organization, the culture we've built, it will be uncomparable.
Hmm.
Atmosphere, I mean, and we're used to the environment because we walk around it on a daily basis. And everything that's really special, we all get used to after a while. It becomes a new norm. But when people from the outside come in that haven't worked for this in this environment, in this culture, come in, it's kind of intoxicating. And they say it. So then we're like, oh yeah, we remember how because we're all, listen, we're perfectionists too. Like we're always trying to fix broken stuff. We're always trying to get better, and that happens in the day to day. But when someone from the outside comes in and they're like, "Oh my God, I miss you guys. I miss this environment," or if they had to leave for various reasons, they they miss it,
Hmm.
So it's like it's hard to explain. But we've heard it from past employees that have had to leave to go work in a different organization for various reasons, or they moved or something, on what it was like here compared to where they went. And some people come back,
Hmm.
left, for a reason, and the grass is greener somewhere else, and they've come back because it's not. And that's a credit to the team. It's a credit to the team, and it's a credit to all the customers that decided to choose us.
Love it. I think that's great. And it sounds like you're kind of creating an open challenge too, right? So come test it out. Come do a ride along with us. Check out the business. So I think those are all good points. So Adam, I want to move into a bit more of your own personal success story, right? Because I know the story goes you started with a small crew, a pickup truck, and a vision to change the reputation of the roofing industry. So fast forward to present day real quick. What's the after? How many team members do you have right now?
Oh my God. Maybe Kim can help me out with that.
Kim, what do you think? You're back there
Well,
in the back.
We're over 50.
Over
we're over
50.
50.
Okay, okay. So start with this whole concept of the vision. Like you said you want to change the reputation. What was it about the reputation of the roofing industry that you wanted to change?
When I started,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's great. Like, listen, small visions turn into big visions.
Mm-hmm.
It was very simple. I worked for contractors in my 20s that were doing well financially, um, but they weren't serving customers to the degree that they could and they should, I believed. And there was some success there financially, but I was working for them. And even though I was getting paid very well, I was very unhappy internally
Mm-hmm.
because we could have done it better. We could have given them more. And then I watched the employees. Um, I was a top performer, so I always got treated well because I could produce a lot. They weren't getting treated all that well. And I said, this is just wrong. And I watched it and I felt it. And I said, when I do this on my own, I'm going to do everything different. And how I paid people and how I treated people and how I treated my customers. And I had people very early on be like, well, you can't pay people that much. You pay people how much? You can't pay them that much.
Hmm.
Not going to make it. And they said that a lot in a lot of different areas. You can't do this, you can't do that. That's not going to work. But I believe like customers just deserve more. And it was fractured. The industry was fractured. It was just smaller roofing businesses. We had a bad image. Roofing didn't have the same value as a plumber or an electrician, or those guys were getting paid better or getting treated better, and all there the roofers showing up, and it was just kind of like this image of an old beat up van or guys showing up to a job site, and I was like, this is wrong. This is a trade. This is very hard work. And a lot of guys didn't charge for the services they were doing either, and sometimes they didn't charge enough for the services because they weren't providing very good service. If you provide excellent service, then you create value, then people don't mind paying for that. So there was a lot of wood to chop in doing that, but like you say, it's all built day-to-day efforts. It is literally day-to-day efforts and consistency over a period of time and holding on to that vision. All of a sudden you wake up someday and you're like, wow, how did this get built? But because I'm exhausted from doing it. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like some people are like, oh, you know how to do it. You can go do it again. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to do this again. Brutal. It was brutal.
So
Yeah.
how would you match it up, Adam? Like looking at life now, looking at what the original vision was there, how close did you get to doing it? How would you rank yourself?
We did it.
That's awesome.
I'm actually getting a little emotional because
Yeah.
yeah, we did it.
Wow. And how does that feel? Tell us how you feel about that.
Um, uh, it's hard to describe. Uh,
Hmm.
words, words, um, words can't describe that. Um, um, the effort, the pain, the struggles, the um, all of it was worth it. So yeah, I mean, it's it is a lot. My heart pours out to anybody in the trades that's in the struggle, that
Hmm.
that's working this. Like I have a lot of respect for people in this business and all the other trades and the pain they go through and the struggles. Um, but it's worth it. It really is worth it. like I said, I wouldn't want to do it again. When I started, I was 29
Yeah.
and I'm 51 now, but I'm glad I started when I was 29 because the 29-year-old body performs a lot better than the 51, but I have a lot more of the brain power, I guess, and the experience that I didn't have at 29. So it's exciting to download that into the next generation.
Hmm.
There are people working in the organization that are, I'm like 32, 33, and I'm like, wow, I didn't have that kind of mentoring at 32 and 33. And I think it's an honor to be able to give them that kind of mentoring and to watch them be more successful than you are in the various departments because and you're happy that they're better than you. I mean, a guy a long time ago said, one day everyone's going to be better at every area of the business than you were, and you get to sit back and clap your hands and applaud and be grateful that that happened. You know what I mean? When there's no ego anymore, or very little, to see that. So yeah, uh it's been getting a little teary-eyed. It's been wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Well, congratulations to you, and I hope you're able to really be present with that feeling because you really have built a tremendous business, and also you made a lot of difference in people's lives, right? So the two success factors was really setting out to do something different than the industry to help change the reputation. The second, of course, you mentioned really focus on people, but the last thing you already started to begin to touch on it, which is giving back, right? So what exactly does that mean from your perspective?
Well, it can be in multiple areas. At first, for me, I found out when I was doing this trade, um, kind of accidentally as I was serving people, that, when you really, really serve a customer with your whole heart, you can leave an impact. In
Hmm.
other words, that's how I built a reputation. I wasn't good at convincing someone we were good. I was good at working the job sites to a high level and having them go, wow, I've never, and it left them with a feeling of like, wow, that was a tremendous experience. And then the next day they would be wherever they would be working or whatever, and they would tell somebody about that experience. I didn't do it because I got another job from them saying that. But my intention wasn't to get another job. My intention was to serve them to the best of my ability. And that impacts people because it gives people hope. They're like, wow, that was tremendous. And then it raises the standard in the industry because people that want business have to raise their standards. So all that can be happening in an organization. Like we've helped raise the levels in other organizations, and then other people doing it helps to raise our standards. So, I mean, that's all happening. I mean, it can be giving back to, it could be it could be growing and learning and having to evolve as a person because you want to be able to feed your team with the knowledge and the wisdom. I mean, it can be the black and white can be, we make money and then we give back to organizations and communities like the local food pantries or addiction recovery or the
Hmm.
share program in Milford or the food banks or the various scholarships that we do or roof giveaways. But I learned we do roof giveaways once a year and during the holidays, and I stole that from somebody that ran a roofing company in Pennsylvania, and I was like, well, that's a great idea, and then we've
Yeah.
done it. And then it's funny is there's other companies in New Hampshire that give roofs away, and sometimes they're like, well, they're copying us. It's like good. Somebody else is getting a free roof in New Hampshire because we started a roof giveaway, and other companies are giving away roofs now too. That's a good thing, right? I mean, yeah, it's a good thing. So like, I mean, it can be everywhere if you want it to be, and if you hire the right people. I don't know if that makes sense to you. You know what I mean?
It does. It seems like the common theme I got there, Adam, is that you just really do pursue excellence in every area of the business. And it first started with focusing on the customer, not focusing on all of them, but just the one, right? And then you would organically get referrals. You build a reputation for that, but really translating that in every other area of the business. And I think that's great, Adam.
Yeah, I remember a story was when I was smaller and I had to answer the phones. a customer would be like, well, you're not really good at answering your phone. And I explained to them why. I said, well, I won't answer my phone until 12 o'clock. I said, because that day, the most important customer is the customer's job site I'm on that morning.
Ah,
That you have to pay attention to that morning are critical for the success of that job. And then I said, and then when I'm on your job, I won't answer the phone until noontime for the next customer because you'll be the most important customer that day, is the job I was on. And foundationally, stop worrying about the next customer, focus on the customer that's right in front of you and and build that way. Now, obviously, we have a lot of people answering phones now, but started from
yeah,
that vision of, but when you get me, you're going to get all of me
yeah,
when you get me. Because I made a promise to him, you know.
yeah. I think that's a great principle to live by for sure. So like if you focus on everything, you focus on nothing, right? So
Well,
all good points. So Adam, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk a bit about Peakzi because this podcast here is powered by Peakzi and you're a Peakzi customer. That's the reason why we came together, right? So
yeah.
first off, how would you describe to other home services leaders what Peakzi is?
Oh man, you're challenging me on that one. Because other people in the organization really are the ones running the Peakzy and doing all the AI stuff. This stuff is like changing very fast.
hmm
Um, but we're going to be on the cutting edge of all of it. I know that much because all of it's going to be a big impact to helping our customers and our employees. And like that's where we are. We're foundationally about in the people business, helping people. So but for me to break down all of Peaksy, I'm not going to be able to do that um, because that's not my wheelhouse. We're so big that I have like people that run the Peaksy part of it, and are working that to the degree that they are. So.
Then give us just some insight in terms of the landscape then, right? Of AI and roofing. Why is it important for you as a business owner to begin to think about these things and use tools like Peakzy to help you get ahead of the curve?
Well, what we're realizing is how people search online is going to change drastically. Um, what I've heard from other organizations recently is they're on the cutting edge of how using AI in the marketing for their business and what that's doing. That one guy literally basically said, if I were you, I would just talk to AI for hours and answer all the questions that it needs to answer from you because you have all the proprietary understanding of the entire organization. You're Adam Vaillancourt from Adam Vaillancourt Roofing, and if you get that out there in the out there on AI, is like you're gonna move up and get more opportunities to serve the customers, and we have to be in the front of the customers calling us. There's this saying like I remember getting this a long time ago. It was on a little packet of sugar. It says, "He who has a thing to sell and goes and whispers in a well is not so apt to get the dollars as he who climbs a tree and hollers." So you have to be out there in front. If you do good work and you're not out there, then customers don't have an opportunity to call you and use you and experience, what you can give them and be able to grow an organization healthy and do all the things that we want to do altruistically. So it is very, very important to us to be on the front lines of all the changes that are happening.
Okay. Yeah, so the biggest thing I got is that you have seen in a very tangible way the nature of search is changing, how people are looking for home services, right? And that's one of the reasons why you came on board with Peakzy.
100%. Yep. We're always going to be turning over new stones if it turns out to help our customers and help our employees. Um, yep. Like I
Gosh.
said, that's foundational. So our decisions
Yeah.
are easily made in that area. Yep.
Okay. Any kind of initial feedback, even from a high level from your team about what the experience with Peakzy has been so far?
I think our team's very happy, right? Are we getting some? Yeah, we're getting this very happy very early. Like everything's so new, it's going to move so fast.
hmm
But we're very, very excited. And we have a bunch of nerds in the company. We always say, hey, we have a bunch of nerdy people that love it and get excited about it. And I love seeing their excitement and when they're utilizing and learning these. I mean, this is big, big change that's going on. And for the better, I believe. It's going to help a lot of people. So,
Good. And what do you think is the risk to other home services leaders if they do not adapt AI tools like Peakzi?
um, it will be hard for them to scale their organizations, I believe. They could get left behind. Um, um, and maybe they don't want to scale. I don't know. Some people are happy with smaller organizations and smaller businesses, you know. Like I said, it's painful to grow it and scale it to that level, to where we are. Not everybody can handle that kind of a beating, I should say. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
they 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 would need to evolve. Like everything is the evolution, you know, you're
Mhm.
constantly evolving. You know what I mean? We have to evolve, we have to innovate. We must. I don't want us to be afraid to not, because then you're making decisions based on fear, but there's a lot of wisdom in looking at what's coming up and how to utilize it. Um, to stay on the front end of it all. Yep.
Okay. So anything else you'd like to mention about Peakzy before we begin to close out here, Adam?
Yeah, not right now. Not right now. No. I'll have
Okay.
to get back with my team and do more homework.
Yeah, I would love to gather their perspectives, maybe in a later episode as well. But I appreciate you sharing what you did. So, Adam, we'd like to close out with a few kind of lightning round questions, just fun questions to kind of get to know you a bit more. So, if you're ready for that, let's jump in, okay? So, what's the funniest service call or customer moment that you experienced or can recollect?
So there's a lot. And then I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay. The one that came to mind was I was on a call visiting a customer, going over their project, and customers tell me stuff like I'm pretty authentic. Like and so this customer was like, people go through stuff. They go through pain. They go through struggles, and I can pick up on those things. And I'm not a hugger, but out of nowhere, I literally felt like this person needs a hug, and like so I hugged this person, and I'm not a hugger, and it's like wow, that was powerful, and I was able to like have some empathy for what they were going through and understanding. And so I left the appointment. I called my very good friend who was also a sales guy meeting a different customer in another part of the state. And I started telling him the story. And then he goes, Adam, I was hugging a customer at the same time you were hugging a customer.
For
So he was
real?
on a sales call trying to going over a roofing project and
Yeah,
probably had a similar situation where he ended up hugging the customer now he is a hugger, so he
yeah.
probably hugs a lot more customers. I wasn't a hugger, and I still felt like I had to hug this person. And so it's like when we talk about us doing more than just roofs, people are going through stuff. People are going through stuff and they need a roof, they need a service call. We have the ability to respond to that, meet their needs where they are, and stuff leaks out and they're going through struggles. So that those are unique experiences that we get to do, and what a blessing it is to be able to do that. That one's pretty unique, but there's thousands and thousands that we've experienced, my employees have experienced, or teammates. But yeah, that's just one of them.
That's a great one because, like you said, you want to leave behind a feeling, right? And what way to do it than that, and to have that happen at the same time and you not being a hugger. That's great. That's one for the
Yep.
books for sure. So, so Adam, what's something interesting about you that most people don't know about? Like your team that's worked with you for a long time. If they found this out, they'd be like, "Whoa, that's didn't know that about Adam." What would you say?
Oh, well, Bill, I'm gonna drop a bomb on you guys.
All right, let's hear it.
So I give back to food pantries,
Okay.
and I've given tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars to food pantries. I
Hmm.
went to a food pantry. I used a food pantry at one point in my life. I
Really?
I I I got sober in 2003.
Oh wow.
Started my business in 2004. So go figure. So I'm in long-term recovery. I've been in long-term recovery. And my 20s, there was a rough point in my life, and I don't regret ever having to go through that. It made me the person I am today, but people would never expected that I had gone through such hardship that I had to go to a food pantry and eat at one point, So like that, they're like, wow, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But yeah, like I, I'm not bashful. There's people in the company that do know that. I don't hide that because somebody always knows somebody that's gone through that is recovering from something. Someone's always recovering from something, whether it could be addiction or this or some trauma or some event. So, yeah, like that has fashioned me and into the leader that I'm able to be today through all of that stuff. So.
Adam, that is
Didn't know
inspirational on
that.
many fronts. That transcends home services, man. And
Didn't
like,
know
no, no, no,
that.
it really does. It gives people hope, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
like a lot of times
absolutely.
people just show the highlight reel, but you're very open to be vulnerable of where you came from, where you are, and
Yep.
the process it takes to get there. I think that's really, really awesome, Adam. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Um, a couple of questions here for you, and then we'll close out. What do you think is the future of the roofing industry in one word or phrase?
Oh, future of the roofing industry. I would say word or phrase would be continuously evolving
Okay.
and improving towards to achieving excellence. Like
Mm.
it will get continue to improve. It will get better. The service will get better. The well, it's yeah, we've gotten a lot of momentum in the last 15 years. That's going to start to grow and move even faster.
And you're right there on the forefront of all things.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Adam, final question here for you. When it all said and done, and you've already had such a tremendous career, but it seems like you're still going, right? But what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be known for?
Um, I legacy, I mean, I'm gonna stay involved. I mean, like I said, I'm 51 years old. There's no retirement for people like me. Um, I want to continue to feed and be a consultant in the industry and continue to learn and grow in my own knowledge and understanding and continue to give back to other home improvement industries and teach in the teaching end of it. So that won't and I spend a lot of time with my son and my daughter and what they're going to turn into and watching that grow is an amazing feeling. So yeah, like there's no exit strategy for me and what I'm called to do. Maybe not 80 hours a week, non-stop grind, but continue to help wherever I can.
Continuing to give back and just continue to live out like your purpose, your values, everything that you've
Yeah.
said, all the things that have made you successful. I think that's really awesome. So, Adam, this was a really great interview. Thank you for your time, sharing your story. If you would share with our audience, what's your website, your social handles? How does everyone connect and learn more about you?
Yeah. We're at www.adamvroofing.com and our direct line 603-673-0006. Please reach out for our services. We'd love to be able to serve as many people as we possibly can.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to have all that contact information in the show notes. So, Adam, this has been a true pleasure. It was really great getting to know you.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
And everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to the Home Services Success Stories podcast, powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business. We'll see you next time.